What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Anthony Morello, and today I'm going to be going over the halfway point of the NFL season, my thoughts on all 32 teams, very similar to what I did after week 2. Same drill as always. I checked the subscriber count, still at 245, 5 more to 250, and I am in a new area. I am almost near the kitchen. I'm in the dining room right now watching the dog. The dog is somewhere in the back in the den, but we're not going to worry about him right now. But I'm going to get straight into this. This NFL season's been interesting, I have to say. And you know it's been interesting when my Patriots are going to be the first team I'm talking about, starting with the AFC East at 7-2. The Patriots came into this season with a very easy schedule. I think that was a given. I just got a text message. That was a total given. What teams didn't expect, though, or fans, of course, also, is Drake May was going to take the leap that he did. And he has. Look at the offseason. You get a guy like Stephon Diggs, Milton Williams been locking down that run game. A single rusher has not eclipsed 50 yards. Or I think a better way to put it, and makes the Patriots defense look better, is the team has not had 50 rushing yards on them this season. That just shows how great they've been. And yes, they haven't been playing the greatest teams. Really, their only legit win, fans would say, is the Bills. But that's just how football is. They're playing really good football. The schedule is just getting easier. They still have the 2 Jets games left, so that's 2 wins right there. The Jets, they basically avoided the toughest Jets they were going to face, and now they're going to face the even worse Jets. That's 2 wins. Another Dolphins game, and there's a few bum teams around that schedule also. So the Patriots should be finishing the 1, 2, or 3 seed and be on their way to hopefully a playoff run. As a Patriots fan, I love to hear it, but you know, things happen. Let's just hope. The Buffalo Bills at 6-2, they haven't been bad at all. It's really just been that 2-game losing streak that was in the middle of all their wins. After the bye, or going into their bye, excuse me. Josh Allen's been playing great football. Of course, we expected that. James Cook really has looked like a top 5 running back in the NFL. I think what they should have done at the trade deadline is get a receiver. I think getting a guy like Brian Thomas Jr. would have put them over the edge. Relying on guys like Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman, is that going to really put them over the hump? And we know their playoff struggles from years prior. Kincaid's been playing fine, but he's on and off the field. The Bills are going to be a good team, though. They definitely have a shot to win the division if the Patriots start losing their trap games. The defense is playing fine as well. They're going to be a good team. And if they catch fire like they usually do, they're probably going to be contending for that number 1 seed in the AFC. Because we really expect, if the Patriots fall off also, the Broncos and Colts to keep winning. Remember, the Bills haven't hit their bye yet. I'm not losing my train of thought. They had their bye already. Well, that took a while for me to catch. The next team is the Miami Dolphins, 2-7. They're done. Tua Tagovailoa needs to go. And when you lose Tyreek Hill for the season, it's expected. That was their best receiver. Jalen Waddle had a little stretch after he got announced he was going to be out for the season, obviously. He looked promising, but a guy like Jalen Waddle is not going to put you over the top. That's just how it is. He's not a receiver like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. He can be very serviceable, but he's not going to be a guy that turns losses into wins. Tyreek Hill, you can argue he's still that. There's a reason why he was number 1 in the 2024 poll of top NFL players. But this team really just doesn't have anything. The culture's not there. Mike McDaniel does not know how to coach. He has to go. I don't know why they're not firing him. They definitely should fire him. Get a new voice in it, because I feel like they lost the locker room. The one bright spot, though, obviously, is the running back Devon Achane, who's going to be their franchise running back, one of the fastest players in the league, and he really can do everything with the ball. In addition to running, he's great in the passing game, so that's definitely a plus, but this year is just not going to be much. And we're going to next move on to the New York Jets, and they're even more in the gutter. I was talking about them yesterday. Justin Fields, just inconsistent. And I just reiterate what I was saying yesterday in my video on the trade deadline. You can have games like you had with the Steelers week 1 and the Bengals the last game they played. But in the middle of that, you just have inconsistent concussion. They trade away all their draft picks. At this point, they just want to get through this season, use their draft picks for next season, and roll from there. There's a reason why they got John Mechie III and Adonai Mitchell. They want to develop Mason Taylor also. If they can maybe get 2 out of the 3 to be serviceable in this league, they could be a decent team. A decent team, but they have to land a quarterback. That's the key, and they just haven't been able to do it. Moving on to the, AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, awful on the Jets last year. We all know that. That's a given. He just couldn't do anything with the ball. But the Jets just, I don't know. You could just argue they might be just cursed with quarterbacks. That's just how it is. They're the highest paid defense in the league, and they were one of the worst defenses through the first 8 games. And then the Colts, who I did pick in Big Mo picks to win, the Steelers, I'm talking about, 5 takeaways. So this defense, if they can get really on track, that'd be really nice. They're 5-3 right now, leading the division. The next team on this list is the Ravens, who are 3-5. In the standings, the Ravens are second place with 3-5. Then you have the Bengals at 3-6, and the Browns at 2-6. I'm going to be going over all 3 teams, of course, right after I talk about the Steelers. It's going to be the offense that carries this team. They need Aaron Rodgers to keep it up. He has not been that bad at all. Fans were expecting him maybe, he's washed, he's this, he's that. But he has a little bit left in him when you put him in an offense and a team that's ran by Mike Tomlin. DK Metcalf has been inconsistent, but he'll be okay. I feel like when they really have to win games, the ball's been getting thrown his way. But I think they're just trying to figure out the offense still. There's a lot of guys that just haven't been able to really get a footing, I feel. A guy like Calvin Austin. Great games, inconsistent games. Kenneth Gainwell, he had that start when Jalen Warren was out, but he's been the whole season. Guys like Caleb Johnson, who got drafted. Not good at all. He had that hiccup on a kickoff, and then nothing really came out of that. But they're going to be a good team, the Steelers. Any team that's led by Mike Tomlin is going to be good, but they need to get that defense right and make it more consistent. They have the momentum from last game against the Colts, because the Colts do have the number 1 offense in the league right now. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson was hurt. That's the reason why they're 3-5. And yes, you could say, they were 1-3 when he was hurt, this and that. The Ravens are a team that know how to win the regular season. Derrick Henry, hasn't been that great this year. Let's be honest. I traded him away in fantasy for a reason. I don't know. He didn't look like he had that much juice, but he's been playing better in these last few weeks. This team's going to be able to win games, though. But 3-5, it has to be now. They can't be lose, and then win out, because then they might miss the playoffs. It has to be, we're going to get going. I was talking about this on the LIU Shark Tank, the other radio show I talk for. It really comes down to the offense and how well they play together. Lamar Jackson coming back. Cooper Rush was awful. Then they put Tyler Huntley in. He wasn't that great either. Putting Lamar Jackson, this is just going to surefire the offense, and it makes a guy like Mark Andrews better. Mark Andrews was doing absolutely nothing with the backup quarterbacks in. The defense, I thought it was going to be better. They have not been that great. A lot of high-scoring games for the other side, and that's just not a recipe to win football games. And yeah, especially when you don't have Lamar Jackson. But coming off winning against the Dolphins, they do have the momentum, and they should be a decent football team. The first 5 weeks of the season, just to add, I have a statistic here. Baltimore allowed 35.4 points per game, and the 3 games since, they've given up just 13. So the defense has been playing a lot better. The Cincinnati Bengals, I was surprised that Trey Henderson didn't get traded. I feel that they don't have much going for them. Losing Burrow for the season obviously is going to kill you. Getting Flacco, that's a good replacement, I have to say. That was a good idea to get someone like him, because he's a guy who can throw the ball. And when you have guys like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins lined up opposite of each other, You have to get them off. That's your offense. There's a reason why they paid both of them and said F the defense. Because their logic is we're going to outscore teams. And look at the game for the other day. It was 47-42 against the Bears. Yeah, 42 points on offense. The problem is their defense will have freaking 47. So, yeah, you're not going to win football games with that rate. The key is there, just score 35 points every game on offense, and then maybe allow 20 on defense. And that, you're probably there going to be led to a 10, 11, 12 win season right there. So just a lot to think about there from a team standpoint. At 3-6, I mean, they could kind of go for a late season playoff push, but they have to do it now. Same with the Ravens. They have to start now. And a game like that, which they could easily won, they could have easily won. They needed to win that game. Next up, the Cleveland Browns. This is another just weird team. They had 6 quarterbacks in this training camp. And then he goes here, he goes there. Flacco gets traded. Shedeur Sanders isn't playing. Well, he started with Joe Flacco at the start of the season. I mean, he didn't really do much. And then Dylan Gabriel. It just hasn't been that crazy. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders wants to play. The running game, Quinshon Judkins has been a solid rookie. I think he's second in rookies with like 400-plus rushing yards. He's second in rushing yards for rookies. The offense is terrible. Jerry Jeudy is not what he was supposed to be this year. He was supposed to be exactly what he was last year. He was top 10 in receiving yards, and now he's awful. They don't have much going. Isaiah Bond hasn't done much since he came back. It's really only Judkins, but he's even been inconsistent at times. And that's just talking about the offensive end. And you would think I'm saying with a 2-6 team, oh, the defense is just as bad. The Browns' defense is elite. They are an elite defense, and look who they have, Myles Garrett, who against the Patriots last week, or what was it? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. He had 5 freaking sacks. I mean, that's ridiculous, man. That is insane. 5 sacks in a game is nuts, especially against Will Campbell, who's been pretty solid this year for the Patriots so far. But the Browns are done. They're done. I think it's going to be beneficial if they can get Shedeur Sanders to play before the end of the season and see what they got in him. Even though he has an ego and all this and that, maybe he will be a very good quarterback in this league, and then the Browns have a quarterback. Because remember, they still have Deshaun Watson. Hopefully Quinshon Judkins can get back on the field as he's been battling some injuries. But we're going to be moving on here to the AFC North, the Indianapolis Colts. Nobody expected the team with Daniel Jones to be the 1 seed in the AFC right at this point in the year. I remember my week 2 video, I was saying, oh, Daniel Jones is looking pretty good, 2-0. He's looking like, okay, he can play a little bit. But I didn't think it was going to keep going. The Colts have the number 1 offense in the league right now. And yes, you could say Daniel Jones is getting aided by Jonathan Taylor. He's getting aided by a great receiving core. The defense is now getting better by Sauce Gardner. There's really nothing to say about this team besides everyone is playing freaking well. The whole team is in sync. The offense is doing everything that they can. There's a reason why they're 7-2. And Jonathan Taylor had an off game, and that led to their second loss of the season last week. But he's going to be just as good. Let's be honest. You're going to have off games as a running back. Some teams just know how to stop you. It's just how it is. And the Steelers were one of them. The Steelers, a defense that was struggling, like I was saying, but then have been picking it up. Same with the Ravens. Great team. They're on their way to a 1, 2, or 3 seed, I think. Even though the schedule is getting harder. So they could fall off. But I feel like it's either they're going to go like 14-3, or they're going to lose like every game out. They're going to be like the Steelers from 2021 when they started like 11-0 and then they started losing every freaking game. The Jacksonville Jaguars. So weird team. I can't lie. They're 5-3. They won against San Fran and Kansas City on both on Monday Night Football. Trevor Lawrence, he has not lived up to exactly what he was supposed to be, I would say. He didn't have a good last year. He had a decent year, I think it was either 22 or 23, he had a decent year. Then he fell off the year after. Last year wasn't that great. Still there because of the contract, of course, he got. They're going to need him to step it up. 5-3, they have a chance to make the playoffs here. They got Jacoby Myers, and that replaces Travis Hunter, who's a big loss, honestly, for the sole reason that he could make offense and defense. So that means it's 2 personnel changes you must make. Jacoby Myers, like I was saying yesterday in my video, a guy does not drop the ball. And a guy like BTJ, who they're trying to get right, he's been dropping a lot of balls. So that should balance it out, I guess. And maybe if Jacoby Myers running a lot of routes over the middle of the field, it can open up more deep balls for Brian Thomas Jr. He just has to catch them. Parker Washington will still be in the slot, and Jacoby Myers will be out wide, I've heard. So a different way of playing for Myers, but he should be good. He played a little bit wide on the Patriots when he was playing. The next team here, the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud had a great rookie year. And then it was kind of just, last year was just okay. He babied Caleb Williams after the first game of the season. We all know about that. And he's been underwhelming. He's shown flashes this year of the quarterback he was his rookie year, but I think teams just figured him out. But he hasn't been terrible. There's just something to be desired from Stroud. If you look at his stats, they are not bad at all. I think they just have to put the whole team together. When the Texans win, they average 32 points. When they lose, it's 14. Against a team with a winning record, they're 1-5. And they also have a hard schedule. Sorry. So expect a lot more losses if he keeps going. Stroud's also hurt right now. Davis Mills actually looked pretty good. He was getting the ball to Nico Collins very well. But just that whole unit's just a lot of different guys in that receiving core. They still haven't figured out who's the running back. I don't know why they're giving Nick Chubb a lot of run. I think it's more beneficial if they just start Woody Marks at this point, honestly. That's just more beneficial for them in the long run. Going on here to the Tennessee Titans, and there's not going to be much I'm going to have to say about the Tennessee Titans. They're just developing Cam Ward, and it's not working. Not a great offensive line, and when you don't have a good offensive line, yeah, that's what's going to happen. Their running back situation, they got Spears back, who's definitely looked better than Pollard, but then Pollard had a great game last week. The problem is Ward turns the ball over too much. 11 turnovers, and that's not something you want out of... Of course, it's to be expected, his game's not going to be polished as a rookie, but it's just too many. They're trying to develop their team, though. They get Spears out there, but they have a receiving core that has young ascending players. I look at Anomanor, whatever his name is. Chimere Dike, tight end Gunnar Helm. Guys who can help them if Cam Ward can take the leap. And with a lot of teams, a lot of rebuilding teams, you just got to figure out your quarterback situation. If you get a quarterback and you can develop him decently, you'll have a good football team. That's just how football works. Cam Ward has shown flashes, but not many, I feel. Firing their coach after 6 games, they're just trying to, again, they're another team that just wants to move on, maybe draft a left tackle, because their offensive line is, There's a reason why Ward's been turning the ball over, because he's always under pressure. Moving on, let's see what's next. The AFC West, the Denver Broncos, who play tonight against the Raiders. 7-2. And they're a good football team. They're tied with the best record in the league. They have a great defense. You know, Surtain's been out. In games that they've been trailing, when the fourth quarter starts, they're 4-0. So they're a team that's very resilient. Bo Nix, solid player. I'm looking at my notes right here while I'm doing this. I might be glancing over to the right a little bit. Have a document here. Nix has been throwing the ball down the field very well. And that's what he has to do. And I feel like the receiving core, there's not one guy that's really taking over. You have games where Troy Franklin's scoring 2 touchdowns, getting 2 touchdowns. Then Cortland Sutton the next game will have 2 touchdowns. Then they'll have Evan Ingram for 1. It's a balanced attack. Everyone's getting the ball thrown to them, but that helps the offense, I feel, really play well. You can hit Marvin Mims on a deep post. You can hit Cortland Sutton on a goal route. You can hit Troy Franklin over the middle of the field. You can hit him deep. There's a lot of options Nix has, but Nix just looked pretty good out of Oregon. Really, he's been very good. I remember during the draft, I did not want the Patriots to draft him, but he's looking like a solid quarterback in this league. I can't lie. Not a bad player at all. Once he gets retained back, they're definitely going to be better. At 7-2, they're going to be pretty good. In pretty good shape. But remember, they have the Chargers and the Chiefs in the division also. And that's the next team we're going to talk about. San Diego, whoa. The Los Angeles Chargers. I thought at the start of the season that they were going to be the best team in the AFC. And then they won the first two games and lost their next two. And then they've been winning their games since. But look at their offensive line. Two sides of it. Rashawn Slater, out for the year. Joe Alt, out for the year. They just got Trevor Penning in trade, like I was talking about yesterday. This car's moving downstairs. There's a lot of movement down here. Sorry about that. With the offense losing Hampton as well, their running back, they had Hassan Haskins start that first game. He was out, and then Vidal kind of took over. He had a down game last game. He has nothing much in there with him. It's just not great. But they need to get guys back. And I forgot to mention Najee Harris also. They're literally on running back 3 or running back 4. And their offensive linemen, like everyone's out. So there's not much to say. They're 6-3, but it's an impressive 6-3 because of how many guys they've been missing. What they're going to have to do is overcome their injuries and keep the good football up. The only thing that's going for them is their wide receivers. They have 3 solid wide receivers on this team. McConkey, Keenan Allen, and Quentin Johnston. Even though Quentin Johnston's insanity run's probably over by now, he can still go for a 100-yard game any day. The Kansas City Chiefs. They're a team that looked like they might have been done at the start of the year. But they just look better and better every week until this week. Getting Rashee Rice back was big. And losing Xavier Worthy for a shoulder injury, the fourth play? No, it wasn't the fourth play. It was early on in the first game against the Chargers in Brazil. Losing him was bad for this team. But what's been good, Travis Kelce's leading tight ends in receiving yards right now. And that's going to help Mahomes because that's a connection they're going to have to utilize. And with Rashee Rice back now, it just opens up the field more, the middle of the field for a guy like Travis Kelce. So there's a lot going for this Chiefs team right now. And let's be honest, they're going to be in contention. They're not in the playoff picture right now, but they're going to make it. I was being very hopeful with the Jaguars before, but I mean, they're going to make it. Let's be honest here. The defense, Chris Jones, maybe has to play a little better. But the thing is, the Chiefs have 4 losses right now. All 4 of them are 1 score. That's what they're going to have to fix up. Let's go to... They're also 1 in FPI. I'm looking at it right now. That's crazy. That is crazy. So that's something... Back to the Raiders. Sorry, I'm just getting a bunch of text messages right now. Stuff from, The Raiders have Geno Smith at quarterback. There's nothing there. They have no offensive line. It's just no identity with them. That's the problem. Ashton Jeanty hasn't been great, let's be honest. There's not much there. Getting Bowers back was big. But there's not... They traded away Jacoby Myers. Dante Thornton hasn't been that much. Trey Tucker's inconsistent. Jack Beck has done nothing. They're a team that has a lot of 3-and-outs. They have no run game. They have no pass game. Geno Smith throwing interceptions a lot. And what I just said, yeah, it's no joke that they're 2-6 right now. They're not a great football team. And they really don't have much to build on. If they can somehow upset the Broncos today, which I doubt is going to happen, then maybe there's a little bit of hope for the future. Because, I mean, if you're going to say a test, it's not really a test, but I would love to see an upset today. Obviously, as a Patriots fan, with the standings how it is in the AFC. The defense is nothing. There's nothing there. Pete Carroll getting the nod at head coach. Nothing crazy much, but he's the reason why Geno Smith is still playing. Because who was his coach? Or who was Geno Smith's coach in Seattle? It was Pete Carroll. Against Jacksonville, he was pretty good last week. So maybe something to build on. But remember, Bowers came back also. So if Bowers can keep it up, that might help Geno Smith in the long run as well. To end the season out on a strong note because he's been struggling for most of the year. I was going to answer a few phone calls. I have some stuff to do, and then I'm going to be back for the NFC. It is time to talk the NFC, and specifically the NFC East, and starting with the Philadelphia Eagles at 6-2. The next team in this division is the Cowboys at 3-5-1, so they should be walking away, and running away even, with this division. At the start of the season, I felt their identity was, we're going to run the frickin' football. And it's funny because you would think, oh, Saquon Barkley's going to be going crazy with that ball. It was a lot of Jalen Hurts and not a lot of Saquon Barkley either. Barkley was just decent, wasn't doing that much. And they finally now are getting A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith involved, and their offenses look even better. They're on their way to a great playoff run. If you look at that defense, their defense is looking better than ever now with all the trades. I mean, Howie Roseman was on that phone for this trade deadline. A lot of teams were asleep. He was there. Hurts is having a silent MVP season. People won't recognize it, but he is. And there's a legit shot that they're going to be the team that makes it out of the NFC. They still have the Lions and the Packers, so those are going to be the test games, but I think they're going to fare well against teams like that. If they keep getting the ball out to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, there's no reason why this team can't go back to a Super Bowl. Those are two of the premier wide receivers in this league. The Cowboys, 3-5-1, like I was saying. Interesting team to talk about. I can't lie. It's a very interesting team to talk about. Micah Parsons left in the offseason, of course. There's a lot of problems. Jerry Jones is... I don't even want to talk about him. It's time for him to go. That's the best way to put it. Go in the sense of not be a GM anymore. Dak Prescott's looked fine. That hasn't been the problem at all either. They're just losing a lot of games because of their awful defense. That's it. Losing Micah Parsons obviously is going to be big for a defense. That's your cornerstone. That's the emphasis of your defense. Get Kenny Clark back, and then now Quentin Williams and Logan Wilson. So they do got reinforcements, but that secondary is awful. Like, so what if you could stop the run? Teams are just going to know, I'm going to pass. That secondary is absolutely horrible. Again, I think I said this yesterday also. There's a reason why the Giants put 37 on this team. They have absolutely no defense at all. Their offense, you could argue, is the best in the league. Who thought Javonte Williams was going to be a top 5 running back in football this season? Nobody. We didn't even know he was going to be the opening game starter. But it's been a legit renaissance for him. The way, and the only way, the Cowboys can make the playoffs here, and how they're going to win games, better defense. The next team, the Washington Commanders at 3-6. It's been a lot of injuries. Not much going for them. Jaden Daniels is probably out for the year. This is a lost season. A lost season, and after making it to the NFC Championship last year, this is not what you want to see if you're a Commanders fan. Jaden Daniels does not look sharp at all. McLaurin and Deebo Samuel have been out countless games for numerous reasons. They haven't had a consistent receiving core. Their running back core is an absolute joke. Krosky Merritt was supposed to be a pretty good running back, and he's looked like one of the worst in football these last few weeks. He had that great game. I think it was Thursday Night Football. We had 2 touchdowns, 100 yards. Ever since then, just nothing at all. Commanders, they're done. They're not doing anything this year. And lastly, in the NFC East, the New York Giants. Losing Scadaboo and Neighbors for the season is not helpful, especially when you're developing a quarterback like Jackson Dart. And the defense, look at that front seven. Abdul Carter got drafted. Dexter Lawrence, before the season, a consensus top 3 defensive tackle in the league. Kayvon Thibodeau can give you 10 sacks. Brian Burns is basically defensive player of the year. And still, they are 30th in rush defense. 30th. That's not how you win games. And that was supposed to be their identity, and their identity is failing. They had a little bit glimmer of hope after that win against the Eagles on Thursday Night Football. But that all just fell apart. Then they had the Broncos game. They were up freaking 19-0 in the fourth quarter. And the Broncos got 33 points and win the game in the fourth quarter. And that took all the momentum out of the world. Teams, fans, I think, actually thought the Giants might be a little bit legit. And quickly, they got proven wrong. And that they were just a whatever team. Moving on to the NFC North. The Green Bay Packers are 5-2-1. Another very interesting team. I don't know if Jordan Love can lead a team to a Super Bowl. And this is when they have to do it. They got Micah Parsons. They look like a decent football team. Not a decent, a really good football team. And then they go out and lose to the freaking Panthers. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. It's crazy. I just don't understand. Very consistent play. And I think one thing about this team, they don't have legitimate X. They don't. It's kind of just like, okay, Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed when he comes back. There's not a legitimate, okay, this is the wide receiver 1. It's like we have 4 wide receiver 3s. Josh Jacobs is doing fine. That defense is, it's going to be decent when you have a guy like Micah Parsons, even if the whole unit in and of itself isn't playing that great. But I'm just talking about the inconsistent games. Because they're in first place, and they're well on their way to a playoff run. But Jordan Love has to play good. Because Jordan Love can have great games and then have absolutely terrible games. The Detroit Lions at 5-3. Losing Ben Johnson to the Bears in the offseason, I think a lot of fans are just like, this offense is too good. First game of the year, they lay a dud. Then we quickly find out, okay, this isn't the coach, just that they struggled the first game. Jared Goff is playing great football. They have Sonic and Knuckles in the backfield. I'm talking about David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Amon St. Brown, but it's a good football team. They have a great offense. If they can get Jameson Williams really going, this can be a Super Bowl contender. 100%. They have a tough November stretch. I'm just looking at my notes here. I'm not going to lie about that. A lot of big games. Washington, Philadelphia, and Green Bay. Those are the games they're going to decide, is this team a Super Bowl contender or is it not? But that's for us to find out. Next on the list, we got the Chicago Bears at 5-3. Another very interesting team. I know I keep saying it, but it's another team that's kind of hard to talk about. Caleb Williams, a solid rookie year, I guess I have to say. This year was supposed to take that leap. And with that, Roma Odunze took the leap the first 5 games, and then ever since then he's been nothing. He's been a ghost. When they were getting Luther Burton involved, then the offense was really freaking good. Finally, DJ Moore did something, but Caleb Williams had a hell of a game last week. A hell of a game. Started off 0-2, then 3 straight wins, and Ben Johnson's been showing he can be a great head coach. They're third in the division right now. They're going to have to win some football games. If Caleb Williams can play like he did last week, there's no reason he can't at all. And lastly, we got the Minnesota Vikings at 4-4. J.J. McCarthy played the first game, then he had a high ankle sprain. Carson Wentz, he wasn't anything special. Then he got hurt. And then J.J. McCarthy came back, and he looked pretty good last week. So really what you're going to have to say for this team so far is if J.J. McCarthy could be something, we could be a solid football team. And they do have a receiver that can turn a decent quarterback into a solid quarterback. And that being Justin Jefferson. And lining up Jordan Addison on the other side of him just helps this team even more. They have one of the better corners in Isaiah Rodgers playing great football this year. This is a team that they're last place, though. They are in a great division. I don't see them making the playoffs. They don't have a good enough offense from what we've seen. But I think with more continual play with J.J. McCarthy, that can very quickly change. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6-2. Baker Mayfield's an MVP candidate. That receiving corps is dealing with a lot of injuries this year. Ibuka missed a few games. Evans is out for a while now. Godwin's been out, or was out. Now he's back, obviously. And I think now he's hurt again. So you just need some continuous play. And, the running backs have been hurt also. Or their running back one is hurt. Bucky Irving. No one knows if he's playing this week. He wasn't spotted at practice yesterday. I haven't seen the practice report for this week. But they're going to need him back. Bucky Irving's one of the better guys in this offense. Can be great out of the backfield, great in the pass game. And it's someone that Baker Mayfield can throw to if there's no options down the field. And it helps him when there's not the whole receiving corps on the field. And when you play a team like the Patriots, who they're playing this week, who have a guy like Christian Gonzalez back there, it's good to have a great dump-off option. Irving is that guy. But the Bucs are well on their way to a playoff berth and a few playoff games, if not more. Carolina Panthers being 5-4. I mean, Bryce Young isn't as bad as I guess we thought he was. I don't know the best way to put it. 0-2 look horrible to start the season. But they're winning games that they aren't supposed to. When Bryce Young is really surefire and he's protecting that football at a high level, that's when this team excels. They have Ted McMillan on that offense, and on the other end they have J.C. Horn. Those are their 2 cornerstones. It's good to have identities. They're going to build around those guys on both units. But this is the big storyline of this season. Start off the year with Chuba Hubbard in the backfield. He gets hurt. And who do you plug in? Rico Dowdle, who has 731 rushing yards, and he hasn't even started half the games. He is a fantastic running back, and it really is why this team is 5-4 right now. Usually when running back gets hurt, and the starter comes back from injury, he's going to be back. But no, Dave Canales is like, Rico Dowdle's playing that good. Schumacher's not coming back in that lineup. He's not going to be the starter. Dowdle's going to be it. And that's what they're going to do. They just have to keep doing exactly what they're doing and winning games how they're winning games. And that can help them get a playoff berth, or who knows, even more than that. Anything can happen in this league. The Atlanta Falcons at 3-5. Michael Penix, a decent season so far. Another guy who's very inconsistent, has been banged up a little bit. But this is the stat that I wrote down. And we're going to go to Bijan Robinson, their best player on offense. You can maybe argue Drake London, but I would probably say it's Bijan Robinson. Falcons 3-0 in games where he has 75 or more rushing yards. When he's under 75 rushing yards, they're 0-5. Against the Bills, he had 238 yards. During the losing streak, 236. So they need Bijan Robinson to play well. And all of a sudden, they're really slow. That was on purpose. But that receiving core, and I'll include Pitts in this, Pitts finally looks like a serviceable tight end in this league. Drake London, he is a top 10 receiver in the NFL. He's a vertical threat, can catch the ball over anyone. It's a guy that Penix can just throw the ball down the field to and hope he catches it. And that's what he's been doing. They're going to have a chance to make a playoff run, but it's only if the Panthers really fall off. And they got to do it quick. The offensive line's not the problem. It's just Bijan Robinson has to get the yardage he needs and just push the pace, get those first downs down in distance, or just burst out for a 60-yard touchdown. Because when he's on, the Falcons' offense is on. Next team, 1-8, New Orleans Saints in the gutter. Charlotte shows at quarterback at this point. They bench Spencer Rattler, and yeah, that's not a great team. I don't know really the best way to put it, other than they suck. They just traded away Rashid Shaheed. They're just looking towards next season. Stack them on draft picks. Whatever they can get for guys. Trade them away. Get some draft picks. Develop them. They're always over the cap. They're trying to get something out of Rattler or Show, which is a good idea. It's not a great idea to just sign a veteran quarterback and say, oh, it's our bridge quarterback, try to win 5 games, and then just rinse and repeat. It's good that they're trying to get a quarterback who's serviceable and building on it, but Rattler didn't work. They're on Show. He hasn't looked that great, so there's not much to say, but they got to hope one works. That defense is just as bad also. The point differential this year is minus 105. It's awful. They've got 243 points on defense. The last division being the NFC West. And the first team, the Seattle Seahawks. Loving their offense after getting Rashid Shaheed. I was saying this yesterday on my episode. Jackson the Jig will beat you over the middle of the field. She's going to beat you up top. Who's safety going to guard? A great idea to pair JSN and Rashid Shaheed. This can be a Super Bowl team. They have a very under-the-radar defense led by Devin Witherspoon and can really be a very hopeful Super Bowl contender. I know I just said that, but I want to say it again. Sam Darnold's playing great football. He really is. He's throwing touchdowns. He's passing at a great level. And that running game, it's a mess over there. You have Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. Some games they're great. Some games they suck. Some games they can't do anything. Some games they're good. It just makes no sense. But when you have a passing game like Darnold can lead, it could just erase all that. It could just be like, okay, so. They're 4-0 away from home. They should win this division. But they have another team right there in the Los Angeles Rams, which we're going to get to now. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. We all knew that was going to be a great receiving duo at the start of the season. And it's a really good one. Now, Puka's now been battling this injury and that injury, but Matthew Stafford knows how to get the ball out and at a very high level. Their offense has many studs. And having a veteran like Matthew Stafford is so great for that offense. A pocket passer, and he's not focused on, I'll scramble. No, he's focused on, I'm throwing this ball to Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams. Another team that could be a Super Bowl hopeful. But I do think the Seahawks are just a tad bit better for the sole fact that I think JSN is the best wide receiver in the NFL. I also think Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford are basically neck and neck. I don't think one's better than the other. They're very close. Next team, the San Francisco 49ers, 6-3. They're battling so many injuries. It's very similar to the Chargers. It's an impressive 6-3. Their whole team's been hurt. They've been running with Mac Jones at quarterback. Christian McCaffrey, his longest rush of the season is 16. It's really been the receiving game. Christian McCaffrey's been going crazy. Their offense has only scored 194 points and then the defense allowed 188. But they're winning football games. That's all that matters. They're winning those close games. 17-13, 26-21, 16-15, 26-23, 20-10, 34-24. There's no blowout wins. There's no 40-7. But that's what a good football team does, win those one-score games. And look at the Chiefs right now. They're losing all those games, and that's why they're not in the playoff picture right now. It's important for a team to really get on that level at the point where they can win those type of games. A lot of playoff games, that's exactly how it is. They need to get Purdy back, and Christian McCaffrey has to run just a little bit better. I know it's a lot to ask for when he's playing so well, but just a tad bit better. I think this team will be even better. Had a little bit of an interruption. I've already recorded like 20 seconds of the Cardinals segment, but I'm just going to restart. 3-5 last in the NFC West right now, and they have a quarterback problem. Jacoby Brissett or Kyler Murray. A lot of fans in the perception was, Kyler Murray got benched after the last game, but no, he was dealing with an injury. He has a foot injury, and now he's out for 4+ weeks. But that's no taking away that Jacoby Brissett has been a very good quarterback for this team. When you have a guy like Trey McBride in your offense, it's important to get it out to him, and that's what Brissett is doing. Brissett's doing a great job of getting it out to a guy like him. Who is their biggest playmaker? Yeah, you can get the ball to guys like Michael Wilson or Greg Dork, but Trey McBride is who's going to put your team over the top when you have everything going on all cylinders. They're a team that their defense is not great, and their running back core has been decimated this year. James Conner out for the year. Trey Benson got on AR. Then Michael Carter started. He sucked. He got released. Then now Bam Knight's playing. Amar DiMercato fumbled his first game in the end zone. He got benched for 2 games. Now he's the third down back. I don't know what the identity is of this team. When everyone's healthy, what's the starting lineup? Jacoby Brissett, yeah, he can be, but Kyler Murray's this team's franchise freaking quarterback. Teams are not going to want to, change when you have a max contract on the books. And yeah, like Deshaun Watson's a different case. There's a reason why the Dolphins still have to rock with Tua Tagovailoa. But the one good thing I've seen from this team is Marvin Harrison. And I left him out when I was talking about the receivers, because Marvin Harrison has looked a lot better this season. Specifically the last 3-4 weeks. He's been a great wide receiver. And it's shown, and he has shown, what he was supposed to be coming out of college and exactly what fans expected when he got drafted very high. I remember I made a video almost 2 years ago that the Patriots should take it number 3, because I thought Marvin Harrison Jr. was going to be like, oh my goodness, this guy's insane. Last year was very underwhelming, but, I guess that's just how it is. Adjustment period. The offense wasn't that great. And laid it done. But this year he's looked a lot better. His hands weren't that great. He was dropping balls, but Jacoby Brissett's bringing the best out of him. And also Trey McBride. Jacoby Brissett has been the better quarterback this year. And I think the Cardinals are going to fail to realize that. But who knows? After what I saw Jacoby Brissett, on the Patriots last year, he was awful. He sucked. He was awful. He's actually able to drop back, throw some nice balls, and play good football. a lot to really take down for this team. But that's it talking about the teams. I just want to go over the leaders real quick and the players and just the number ones. Daniel Jones of the Colts leading with passing yards at 2,404. Everyone else really any surprise. Herbert, Mahomes, Prescott, Drake May. Tackles, Jordan Brooks is leading of the Miami Dolphins with 93. Brian Burns, I was talking about him, 11 sacks. Amazing player. Jonathan Taylor, 895. If you were to tell me it's a list for rushing leaders at this point of the year, it would be Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Rico Dowdle, Javonte Williams, and J.K. Dobbins. I would have called you crazy at the beginning of the year. Jack Smith-Njigba, I am not surprised one bit. I always thought he was a great receiver, leading with 948 receiving yards. And on the interception end, we have a tie between Kevin Byard, the third of the Bears, Tremaine Edmonds of the Bears also at 4, and Devin Lloyd of Jacksonville. Jamal Dean really good on the Buccaneers this year also. Very slept on a corner. I think he's 1 in PFF right now. But that will be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm really looking forward to this end of the football season. There'll definitely be another video just like it's the end of the year. Maybe I'll do one after week 14, depending on how the season's going. Maybe there's a lot of changes. Bold predictions. I'll make 3 at the midway point. This is going to be a tough. I think Rico Dowdle is going to lead the league in rushing. I don't know why I have the feeling of that, but I really think he is that good at that position. That's one. Going over 1 seeds, the Patriots will be the 1 seed in the AFC. And I know it's a little biased, obviously. And Brian Burns is going to get the record for most sacks in a season. I think Brian Burns is that freaking good. Those are my 3 predictions. But that will be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get to that 250 goal, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.